Tonight we have confirmation that a second Canadian has been detained in China as Beijing is apparently striking back at Canada for arresting a top Chinese technology executive. China claims businessman Michael Spavor, as well as former diplomat Michael Kovrig, are suspected of undermining China's national security. Spavor gained notoriety for helping to arrange visits to North Korea by the former NBA star Dennis Rodman. CNN's Brian Todd is digging into all of this for us. Brian, tell us more about Spavor, his connection to Dennis Rodman, and to Kim Jong-un.
Wolf, tonight, Michael Spavor's caught up in a web of intrigue and diplomatic retaliation. He's got a history with Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un going back at least 5 years, and tonight, we've looked into whether that connection played into Spavor's detention by Chinese officials. On his Facebook page, Michael Spavor proudly displays pictures of him and Kim Jong-un in a friendly embrace and chatting with Kim over drinks on a boat. There's also a shot of him standing with the North Korean dictator, along with the former NBA star who Spavor helped get into North Korea, Dennis Rodman. Tonight, Michael Spavor, a Canadian businessman based in China, is believed to be languishing in a Chinese jail after having disappeared this week. Canadian officials tell CNN Spavor was detained in China after being questioned at an airport there. The Canadians say when they were on the phone with Spavor during his interrogation, he sounded concerned about the line of questioning.
I'm shocked he's in the situation that he is right now. I've known Michael for many years now. I always knew him to be sort of like a quiet, kid-like guy.
Chris Volo managed several of Rodman's visits to North Korea, including one where they celebrated Kim's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
He says Michael Spavor, who runs a company which helps facilitate trips to North Korea, helped them with 3 of Rodman's visits there.
Mr. Spavor was basically in charge of getting our visas and organizing hotels. He lives in China. He's a Chinese resident. China is his home. The last thing he would ever want to do is do anything to endanger the security of his home.
That's not what Chinese officials are saying tonight. They say they're investigating both Spavor and another Canadian in China, former diplomat Michael Kovrig, who they're also believed to have detained this week.
Canadian citizens Michael Kovrig and Michael Spavor were suspected of having engaged in activities that endanger China's national security.
But Chinese officials won't be more specific than that. They say they're taking, quote, compulsory measures on Spavor and Kovrig.
I think that compulsory measures means detainment, probably placed into a Chinese jail cell, basically kept isolated, wondering what their future is going to be. It is certainly possible that there could be some roughing up. I doubt very, very much that they are going to torture citizens of Canada.
Tonight, analysts are concerned that these 2 Canadians are pawns in a high-stakes retaliation play. Spavor and Kovrig were accosted by Chinese officials just a few days after Canadian officials arrested Meng Wanzhou, a top executive of a Chinese telecommunications firm in Vancouver. U.S. officials accuse her of helping her company, Huawei, dodge U.S. sanctions on Iran.
I think it's very clear that the Chinese are livid about the detainment of Ms. Meng, both because of who she is, CFO of a major Chinese company, the daughter of the founder of Huawei, but also in the belief that this is not about breaking Iran sanctions, but really the Americans playing hardball in trade negotiations.
Since the North Koreans have had a relationship with Michael Spavor, could they possibly lobby their allies, the Chinese, for his release? Analysts say that's not likely because the North Koreans are still beholden to the Chinese for helping them get around sanctions. We reached out to North Korean officials at the UN to ask if they would lobby on Michael Spavor's behalf. They have not been responsive to us. Wolf?